Listen up, my foodie friends. France. It's not all about fashion and fancy perfumes, you know. We're about to dive deep into the heart of French cuisine, where flavor reigns supreme. We're talking 20 of the most iconic savory dishes, each one a bloody masterpiece in its own right. From the sun-drenched shores of the Mediterranean to the snow-capped peaks of the Alps, we're going on a culinary journey. Get ready to discover the secrets behind these legendary dishes. We'll uncover the history, the ingredients, and the techniques that make them so damn delicious. So, sharpen your knives, put your aprons on, and get ready to cook up some magic. This is French cuisine, like you've never seen it before. First up, we're heading to the sun-kissed shores of Marseille, a city that's as vibrant and flavorful as the dish it's famous for, Bouillabaisse. This is no ordinary fish stew, you hear me? It's a symphony of the sea. We're talking a rich, saffron-infused broth, simmered to perfection with an assortment of the freshest Mediterranean fish. None of that frozen rubbish. Think red mullet, monkfish, John Dory. Each bite bursting with the taste of the ocean. And don't even get me started on the rouille. This garlicky, saffron-spiked mayonnaise is the perfect accompaniment, adding a fiery kick to the dish. Mop it all up with some crusty bread, and you've got yourself a taste of Marseille heaven. This is a dish that's meant to be savored, shared, and devoured with gusto. It's a celebration of the sea, and trust me, it's bloody delicious. Next, we're venturing into the heart of Burgundy, a region renowned for its rolling vineyards and world-class wines. And what better way to experience the essence of Burgundy than with a hearty dish of coq au vin? This classic French recipe features tender chicken, slowly braised in red wine until it's falling off the bone. But it's more than just chucking some chicken in a pot, believe me. We're talking layers of flavor here. Smoky lardons, earthy mushrooms, and sweet onions all come together in perfect harmony, infused with the rich, complex flavors of Burgundy wine. It's slow-cooked to perfection, allowing the flavors to meld and deepen. This is comfort food at its finest, a dish that warms you from the inside out. It's the perfect way to warm up on a chilly evening, transporting you straight to the heart of Burgundy with every single bite. Right, now we're off to Occitanie in southwest France. Forget your fancy foie gras and truffles. This is the heartland of rustic French cooking. And let me tell you, their signature dish, Cassoulet, is as hearty and satisfying as a rugby scrum. This ain't some poncy little casserole, it's a bloody institution. We're talking tender white beans, slow-cooked to creamy perfection. Then you've got chunks of juicy pork sausage and succulent duck confit, all layered up and cooked low and slow until the top is golden brown and crispy. This, my friends, is peasant food, elevated to an art form. Forget your Michelin stars. This is the kind of dish that sticks to your ribs and warms your soul. It's the epitome of French comfort food, perfect for a cold winter's day. And don't even think about skimping on the crusty bread. You'll need it to mop up every last drop of that rich, savory sauce. Trust me, one bite of this, and you'll be saying, "Oui, chef." Listen up, my foodie friends. We're heading to the French Alps, home of Mont Blanc, and some of the most stunning scenery you'll ever lay eyes on. But don't let the breathtaking views distract you from the main event, Tartiflette. This dish is as rich and indulgent as a chalet in Courchevel. Imagine this. You've just spent the day carving up the slopes, your legs are burning, and your stomach's rumbling louder than an avalanche. What you need is a plate of this cheesy, bacony goodness. We're talking thinly sliced potatoes, cooked in butter and garlic until they're soft and sweet. Then you add smoky lardons, white wine, and the star of the show, reblochon cheese. This ain't your average cheddar, mate. Reblochon is a creamy, nutty cheese from the Savoy region, and it melts like a dream. It forms a golden crust over the potatoes and lardons, creating a dish that's both hearty and unbelievably Moorish. One bite of this, and you'll be feeling warmer than a Saint Bernard with a brandy barrel. It's the ultimate alpine comfort food, and trust me, you'll be scraping the dish clean. All right, my foodie friends, put down the baguette and pay attention. We're heading to the City of Lights, Paris, for a taste of classic French elegance, Blanquette de Veau. Now, don't let the fancy name fool you. This dish is all about simple, fresh ingredients cooked to perfection. We're talking tender, melt-in-your-mouth veal, simmered slowly in a velvety white sauce. It's seasoned with just a touch of nutmeg and lemon juice, which cuts through the richness and adds a bright, fresh note. Then you've got pearl onions and mushrooms, adding a delicate sweetness and earthy depth. This is the kind of dish that'll make you want to lick the plate clean. It's the culinary equivalent of a warm hug on a rainy day. And don't even think about serving it with anything less than a perfectly cooked mound of fluffy white rice. This is French comfort food at its finest. And trust me, it's a dish that deserves a Michelin star. So put on your best beret, grab a fork, and prepare to be transported to a Parisian bistro. All right, foodie friends, listen up. We're heading back to the French Alps, home of raclette. This ain't your average cheese course. It's a bloody religious experience. Imagine this. You've been skiing all day. Your muscles are aching. You're freezing your arse off. You walk into a chalet, and bam! A giant wheel of cheese, melted to perfection, ready to be scraped onto a plate, piled high with potatoes, charcuterie, and gherkins. That's raclette, and let me tell you, it's a bloody game changer. The cheese itself is nutty, earthy, and melts like a dream. Pair that with the salty cured meats, the tangy gherkins, and the fluffy potatoes, and you've got yourself a meal that'll warm you up from the inside out. Trust me, after a hard day on the slopes, there's nothing better than tucking into a plate of steaming hot raclette. It's the ultimate comfort food, and it'll leave you feeling like you could climb a mountain, or at least tackle another Black Diamond run. Next up, we're off to Brittany, the rugged coastline of France, where they've perfected the art of the crêpe complète. Now, I'm not talking about those flimsy, sugary pancakes you get from street vendors. These are savory masterpieces, cooked on massive griddles and filled with a symphony of flavors. We're talking ham, cheese, eggs, and whatever else those culinary geniuses can dream up. Picture this: a thin, delicate crepe, golden brown and slightly crispy around the edges. It's folded over a generous filling of salty ham, melted Gruyere cheese, and a perfectly cooked egg, still slightly runny in the center one bite, and you're transported to a seaside bistro, the salty air whipping through your hair as you savor every mouthful. It's simple, it's classic, and it's bloody delicious. Don't even think about asking for Nutella on this one. You hear me? From the rolling hills of Lorraine comes a dish that's as elegant as it is delicious: Quiche Lorraine. Now, I know what you're thinking. Quiche? That's just a fancy egg pie. But trust me, this ain't your mother-in-law's quiche. This is a culinary masterpiece, a symphony of flavors and textures that'll have you singing its praises. We're talking about a flaky, buttery crust, a creamy, custard-like filling, and the perfect balance of salty bacon and nutty cheese. Imagine this. You cut into the golden crust, and the aroma of smoky bacon and melted cheese hits you like a freight train. The filling is rich and velvety, the perfect contrast to the crisp, buttery crust. Each bite is an explosion of flavor, the salty bacon playing off the nutty Gruyere, all brought together by the creamy egg custard. This is a dish that's perfect for any occasion, from a casual brunch to a fancy dinner party. So next time you're looking for a dish that's sure to impress, give Quiche, Lorraine a try. You won't be disappointed. Foie gras. You hear those words, and you know you're in for something special. This ain't your mother-in-law's pâté, no siree. We're talking about the liver of a duck or goose, treated like royalty and raised on the finest ingredients in Nouvelle Aquitaine. This region, it knows luxury. Think rolling vineyards bathed in sunshine, Michelin-starred restaurants with more awards than you can shake a stick at, and a passion for food that's in their blood. They take their time with foie gras, perfecting every step. You can taste that dedication in every bite. One bite, and it's like butter, melting on your tongue. Buttery, rich, and packed with flavor. Serve it up with a touch of sweetness, a fig compote, a drizzle of honey, something to cut through that richness and make it sing. Trust me, your taste buds will be singing your praises. Beef Bourguignon. It's a classic for a reason. Do you know why? This dish is Burgundy through and through, hearty, bold, and swimming in enough red wine to make even the most stoic Frenchman loosen his tie. We're talking slow-cooked beef, tender as a mother's love, simmered in a rich, deeply flavored sauce. And speaking of that sauce, let's not forget what makes it truly sing Burgundy wine. These folks, they know their grapes. They've been crafting world-class wines for centuries, and they don't skimp when it comes to cooking with it either. The wine adds depth, complexity, a certain je ne sais quoi that you just can't replicate. Don't even think about rushing this dish. Low and slow is the name of the game. Let those flavors meld, let that beef surrender to the sauce, and you'll be rewarded with a culinary symphony. Serve it up with a side of creamy mashed potatoes, something to soak up every last drop of that glorious sauce. Salade Niçoise. It's more than just a salad. It's a love letter to the French Riviera. Picture this: the sun-drenched shores of Nice, the azure waters of the Mediterranean sparkling like 1,000 diamonds. The air is filled with the scent of salt, citrus, and fresh herbs. That's what this salad captures, the essence of summer on the Côte d'Azur. Now, don't think you can just toss any old ingredients together and call it a niçoise. We're talking quality ingredients, bursting with flavor. Tomatoes, ripe and juicy. Hard-boiled eggs, cooked just right. Niçoise olives, briny and bursting with sunshine. And of course, no niçoise is complete without fresh, flaky tuna. But the real star of the show? The dressing. A simple vinaigrette, made with the finest olive oil and tangy Dijon mustard. It brings all those flavors together, creating a symphony of taste that'll transport you straight to the south of France. This ain't your average side salad, folks. This is a meal in itself. You call yourself a chef, and you've never tasted a proper soupe à l'oignon? For God's sake, it's practically criminal. This is Parisian comfort food at its finest. We're talking about slowly caramelized onions, simmered in a rich, flavorful beef broth, not some bland, watery mess. And don't even think about rushing the caramelization process. You want those onions a deep, rich brown, almost like chocolate. That's how you build the flavor base. Then we hit it with a generous splash of dry sherry, because even a humble onion soup deserves a bit of sophistication. And the pièce de résistance? A thick slice of toasted baguette, smothered in melted Gruyere cheese, floating on top. It's the perfect counterpoint to the sweet, savory broth. Soupe à l'oignon. It's not just soup, it's a bloody revelation. Listen up and get ready. We're about to tackle a French classic that separates the true foodies from the picky eaters. Escargots de Bourgogne. Yes, I'm talking about snails. But don't you dare turn your nose up at this delicacy. We're not serving some slimy garden pests here. These beauties are cooked to perfection with garlic, parsley, and a generous knob of butter. The aroma alone is enough to make your mouth water. And don't even get me started on the texture. Tender, buttery, and absolutely divine. Forget your forks and spoons. For this dish, we're going in with the escargot tongs and a crusty baguette. You want to soak up every last bit of that garlicky, buttery goodness. Trust me, one bite of these bad boys, and you'll be saying, "More snails, please." Pissaladière. Even the name sounds sophisticated, doesn't it? This ain't your grandma's apple pie, folks. This is a Provençal onion tart that's bursting with flavor. We're talking about sweet caramelized onions, salty anchovies, and briny black olives, all baked to perfection on a bed of flaky dough. The key here is to get those onions nice and caramelized, just like with the soupe à l'oignon. We want them rich, sweet, and almost jammy. And don't be shy with the anchovies. Trust me, they add that salty, umami punch that takes this tart to the next level. Imagine this. You're sitting on a sun-drenched patio in Provence, a glass of chilled rosé in hand, and a slice of this savory tart on your plate. It's the taste of summer in every bite. Pissaladière. It's not just a tart, it's a bloody masterpiece. Bœuf and croûte, so delicious. It looks simple, but this ain't no amateur's game. We're talking about tender, succulent beef, seasoned to perfection and tucked inside a blanket of golden, flaky pastry. You think you can just slap some dough on a piece of meat and call it a day? Think again. This dish, from the majestic Rhône Alps region, is all about precision. Every layer, every ingredient, must be cooked with care and attention to detail. The pastry needs to be crisp, the beef needs to be melt in your mouth tender, and the sauce, oh, the sauce. It needs to be rich and bursting with flavor. One bite of this beauty, and you'll be transported to a castle on the banks of the Rhône. You can practically hear the crackling fire and smell the fresh air of this region. Pair the dish with a robust red wine from Burgundy or a Pinot Noir. The wine's depth of flavor complements the richness of the beef and pastry. Enjoying a bœuf en croûte is all about savoring the layers of flavor and textures while pairing it with complementary sides and drinks for a complete experience. I hope you are still hungry. This ain't your grandma's mashed potatoes. We're talking about aligot, a dish so rich, so cheesy, so utterly indulgent, it'll make you want to help yourself to another plate. Hailing from the rugged Auvergne region, this dish is not for the faint of heart. Picture this: creamy, buttery mashed potatoes, whipped to perfection, and then, bam! We hit it with a truckload of cheese. And not just any cheese, mind you, but a blend of nutty Tommy Fraiche and tangy Cantal. It's enough to make a grown man cry tears of joy. But here's the kicker. Getting that perfect elastic texture is no walk in the park. It takes serious muscle and a whole lot of elbow grease. You gotta work that cheese into the potatoes until it's smooth, silky, and stretches for miles. One bite of this, and you'll understand why they call it the aligot pull. It's a thing of beauty, I tell ya. Let's talk now about the famous Raclettes. This rustic gem from the Loire Valley is proof that simple food, done right, can be absolutely bloody delicious. Forget your fancy foams and your pretentious drizzles. This dish is all about pure, unadulterated flavor. We're talking slow-cooked pork, shredded to perfection, and then confit in its own fat. Yeah, you heard me right, fat. Don't give me that look, you know you love it. It's what gives the Raclettes its rich, melt-in-your-mouth texture. Now, slather that porky goodness on a hunk of crusty bread, add a tangy cornichon for good measure, and you've got yourself a taste of heaven. It's the perfect snack to enjoy with a glass of crisp white wine as you soak up the beauty of the Loire Valley. Just try not to eat the whole jar in one sitting, yeah? Don't miss, now the poulet basquaise. We're heading to the Basque Country, a region straddling France and Spain, where they know a thing or two about flavor. Forget those bland chicken dishes you've been murdering. We're about to tackle poulet basquaise. This dish is bursting with flavor, just like the Basque Country itself. Picture this: tender chicken, browned to perfection, simmered in a sauce that's vibrant and bold, just like the Basque people. We're talking ripe tomatoes, sweet peppers, and onions, all playing their part to create a symphony of flavor. This isn't some wishy-washy stew. It's a celebration of fresh, quality ingredients cooked with passion. The Basque Country is a land of contrasts, from its rugged coastline to its rolling hills. And this dish reflects that perfectly. It's rustic, yet refined, hearty, yet bursting with freshness. One bite, and you'll be transported to a sun-drenched terrace overlooking the Pyrenees Mountains, with the scent of Espelette pepper filling the air. Don't even think about serving this dish with some soggy side. We're talking crusty bread to mop up every last drop of that glorious sauce. Poulet basquaise, it's not just a dish, it's an experience. Now get in the kitchen and make it happen. And for God's sake, don't overcook the chicken. Right. And now, after all that fancy foie gras and escargots, let's get back to basics with a dish that is quite easy to make. Hachis parmentier. It might sound like a load of pretentious French rubbish, but trust me, this is proper comfort food. Imagine a shepherd's pie, but instead of some dodgy mince, you've got beautifully seasoned ground beef, simmered to perfection. And forget about those dry, lumpy mashed potatoes you get at some greasy spoon. This is France. We do things properly here. We're talking creamy, buttery, smooth as silk mashed potatoes, layered over that gorgeous beef filling. Then, it's all topped off with a golden crust, baked to perfection. You can smell the love in this dish, even if you've got the nose of a bloodhound. This is the kind of dish you'd find in a Parisian grandmother's kitchen, simmering away on the stove. It's the food that brings families together, warms you from the inside out on a cold night. So, next time you're feeling a bit homesick for a good hearty meal, forget the shepherd's pie and give Hachis parmentier a go. You might just surprise yourself. Just don't blame me if you end up licking the plate clean. And last but not least, we're heading back to the sunny shores of Provence for this next dish, brandade de morue. Now, don't let the name scare you off. It's just salt cod, olive oil, and a few other bits and bobs. But don't think for a second that this is some bland, boring fish dish. This dish is all about letting the ingredients speak for themselves. The salt cod, soaked to perfection, becomes tender and flaky, soaking up all the flavor of the good quality olive oil. It's seasoned with garlic, a touch of nutmeg, and maybe a squeeze of lemon juice. That's it. Simplicity at its best. Just like those fishermen who've been hauling in cod off the Provençal coast for centuries. They know a thing or two about good, honest food, and this dish is a testament to that. Serve it with some crusty bread to mop up all those delicious juices, and you've got yourself a taste of the Mediterranean sunshine. So, put down the fish fingers and step away from the freezer aisle. It's time to experience the real deal. Brandade de morue, a dish that's simple, elegant, and bursting with flavor. Don't be shy and give it a try. Well, there you have it, my foodie friends. 20 of the most iconic savory dishes France has to offer. From the hearty stews of Burgundy to the fresh salads of the Côte d'Azur, we've covered it all. Now, I know some of you lot are probably thinking, dude, there's no way I could ever make this stuff. But listen up, you don't have to be a Michelin-starred chef to appreciate good food. Get yourselves down to the market, pick up some fresh ingredients, and give one of these recipes a go. And if you're lucky enough to be planning a trip to France, for God's sake, don't just eat at McDonald's. Get out there and experience the real deal. Try the local specialties, explore the markets, and discover the incredible flavors of this amazing country. But for now, I'm off to stuff my face with some more of this incredible French cuisine. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more travels and culinary adventures, and please let me know in the comments which dishes you're going to try. Happy travels, and bon appétit!